Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos, and today we're starting a series showcasing the Season 1 War Within dungeons to help equip you with everything you need to know to conquer them on Heroic, Mythic, and Mythic Plus difficulties. This video is all about Ara-Kara, City of Echoes. But first, Mythic Plus has changed quite a bit in War Within, featuring several exciting new affixes, which reward you for handling them well, called Xal'atath's Bargains. They rotate weekly and begin at level 2. For example, Voidbound causes Void Emissaries to spawn, which empower enemies, but when you defeat them, they'll grant you some of their power. In case you missed it, Dragonflight Season 4 changed the dungeon difficulties to shift each level up a few steps on the difficulty curve, and that is still true in the War Within. So expect to encounter a serious challenge even at the lowest level of keys at the start of the season. Once you can push the key up to level 4, Tyrannical or Fortified will activate to empower bosses or non-bosses respectively. Then at level 7, Challenger's Peril will require you to further perfect your execution by deducting even more time for each death. At level 10, whichever of Tyrannical and Fortified wasn't active at level 4 will kick in. And at level 12, Xal'atath will retract her helpful bargain affix and instead further empower all enemies in the dungeon, creating the ultimate challenge for players looking to truly push the limits. Alright, let's take a look at Ara-Kara, a 3-boss dungeon located in the Nerubian zone of Aj-Kahat. Ara-Kara features quite a few poison effects, so it's worth talenting into any dispels that you can before we get started. To engage the first boss, you'll first need to take out the 3 mini-bosses, Ixin, Noct, and Atik. All 3 mini-bosses share a frontal that targets a random player and leaves behind web puddles. Ixin will fear you if you don't interrupt Horrifying Shrill, so make sure to kick that. Noct does damage to the whole party and summons ads. Atik blasts your tank with an interruptible poison dot and also creates poisonous clouds that you shouldn't stand in. In this entire area, you'll also want to make sure to kick Resonant Barrage from the Trilling Attendants and move out of the Toxic Ruptures from dying Engorged Crawlers. This dungeon also features 2 enemies that will charge players farther than 8 yards away from them. Ravenous Crawlers in this area, and Bloodworkers in the next. If you're playing with a coordinated group, you can have everybody stand within 8 yards of these enemies to prevent them from casting these abilities at all, reducing damage on the group, and also increasing efficiency by keeping them stacked up with the rest of the pull. Once you've killed all 3 mini-bosses, Avanoxx will spawn. This fight is largely on the tank. They'll want to have a defensive up for every Voracious Bite, and they'll need to make sure that the boss never eats any ads, which spawn after every Alerting Shrill cast. If the boss does eat any of the ads, it'll gain a massive 50% damage increase for a whole minute, which is very difficult to deal with. You'll also want to look out for Gossamer Onslaught, which will fire swirlies at players that need to be dodged. These swirlies then spawn webbed ground, and ideally should be stacked up or placed in unimportant areas to maximize space. The next area has a few very important abilities you should focus on. Bloodstained Web Mages cast Revolting Volley, which can be interrupted, but if it isn't, it'll put a nasty poison on the whole group. Sentry Stag Shells use Alarm Shrill, which has a very long cast time, but isn't interruptible. If this goes off, it's a catastrophe, summoning a hulking Bloodguard and also aggroing all enemies within 50 yards. Hulking Bloodguards themselves are also a problem. Their Slam will damage the whole group, their Impale needs to be dodged, but the most sneaky ability they have is a 50% damage reduction aura that they grant their allies, meaning you should absolutely focus these down first in any pull that includes one. Anub'Zekt should be tanked facing away from the group, as its Impale will target your tank. Infestation is a nasty dot that creates a swarm when it expires. This swarm will stack a very nasty dot very quickly if you stand in it. The boss will also spawn web mages that should be interrupted and killed. Anub'Zekt also charges random players, and every time it reaches 100 energy, you'll need to get in close, as it'll cast Eye of the Swarm, filling the whole room with that swarm except for a small safe zone around the boss. Positioning is vital during this part of the fight, as the boss will keep casting Impale, and there are still swarms to dodge. After a short walk, you'll enter the last boss area. Blood Overseers guard these halls and are immune to CC. They'll try to poison your whole group with Venom Volley, but this can and should be interrupted. The small enemies in this area, both the ground reinforced drones and the air winged carriers, are all carrying containers of black blood. When you first hit them, they'll drop the container, spilling a puddle of the blood. Don't stand in this, as it'll spawn an ad and root you until you kill that ad. There's also a Nerubian Hauler here, which slams the group for increasing damage. You may want to use some cooldowns to get through this mini-boss, although it is quite close to the last boss, so you may want to save them too. The last boss, Kikatal the Harvester, is all about Cosmic Singularity. This cast will pull everyone into the boss, starting slow, but turning into a very powerful pull towards the end of the cast. If you are within 10 yards when it finishes, you will take massive damage. You may be able to survive with enough defensives, or you can immune the effect or potentially dodge it with some very flashy play, but the boss also gives you a way to avoid it through the black blood mechanic. This works the same as the trash from earlier. Several haulers will spawn and run around, and if you hit them, they'll spill a black blood puddle. Simply run into this puddle to turn it into an ad that will root you and hold you in place, which will prevent you from being pulled by the Cosmic Singularity. Besides solving this mechanic, the fight has a few erupting webs, swirlies, to dodge, and cultivated poisons, which poisons the entire group. When this poison expires or is dispelled, you'll shoot nasty poison waves in the directions indicated. The simplest way to handle this is to quickly get away from the group and aim your poisons in a safe direction if you have a dispel, then fire off the dispel. If you don't have a dispel, stay close to your healer until the poison is about to expire, since there's quite a lot of damage associated with the poison itself, and then make sure you're well positioned as it expires. There's plenty more to explore in this dungeon, but that's all we have time for in this video. We hope you've enjoyed this look at Ara-Kara, City of Echoes, and can't wait to see the strategies you come up with during the War Within Season 1. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the guides we have coming for the other dungeons. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next one.